Jeopardy! Champion Cris Panullo has crushed the competition in his latest win, walking away with over $20,000 more than other players. The New Jersey native has won the game show more than 17 times thus far. During Friday's episode of Jeopardy! Cris came away with yet another win. The operations success manager won the show with $44,121, tens of thousands of dollars more than the other two competitors. Josh Greger walked away with just over $1,328 while Alana Friedman won $11,000. Cris has been raking up wins for several weeks on Jeopardy!, shocking fans along the way. Fans were thrilled for the star, taking to Reddit and other social media platforms to celebrate him. One commenter wrote, "Runaway Cris is back baby." Another commented, "Amazing how in just a single year and a half time, we went from having just 3 contestants who could claim they won 20 or more games on Jeopardy! To now 7. More than double in just like 15 months. A third fan commented, "Well, a classic runaway from Cris to win game number 20. Simple as that. And got the FJ right thanks to the classical music part of the clue." Cris played his 19th game on Thursday and the difficult questions weren't all he had to look out for during the game. The star also faced some shady comments from another contestant. Rob Lamina, a new player, celebrated audibly when Cris missed a question during the show, missing the chance to take an even bigger lead by snagging a daily double. Of Cris' many wins, 15 have been runaways, meaning there was no chance other players could catch up to him by the time they reached Final Jeopardy! Thursday's game, however, was much closer and Cris struggled in some areas, including a daily double he stumbled upon during gameplay. During the second round, Cris led with $23,000 while Rob was still in the game with $14,000, Jerry with $1,800. Jerry landed on the last randomly placed daily double left, meaning Cris couldn't take the W by default, getting it correct and betting big. Before Jerry answered it, Rob turned to her and said, "Thank you, Jerry." Host Ken Jennings, 48, heard him and joked, "You kept Cris from finding it." Rob nodded sarcastically up and down toward Ken, hinting that was why he was so happy. Cris made an upset face but didn't say a word. Cris clinches victory. Going into Final Jeopardy!, Cris finished up with $27,600 to Rob's $14,200 and Jerry's $3,900. Cris got the Shakespearean clue correct and closed the curtains on his competitors with $28,821, just $2,000 more than Rob, who went for broke with a huge last wager. Cris now has a 19-day total of $666,744, only 4 contestants have ever amassed more. Eagle-eyed Jeopardy! Fans were thrilled he won but left bothered by how Rob handled the mid-game moment. Rob's smirk and "thank you Jerry" when she chose the third daily double felt a bit off-putting. Another wrote, "I agree, but if you look at it charitably, maybe he was thanking Jerry for keeping Cris from getting it? Still, it seemed to be an unnecessary comment to me." A third wrote, "Oh, I absolutely think that's what he meant, that's part of what irked me, haha." A fourth defended, "I think he was just playing really hard in a very unenviable position." A fifth fan wrote that even if the reasoning behind the gesture was understandable, it was not in good taste to say something. "Yeah, not a big fan of that too, especially since Cris seems like a nice dude, and it borders on bad sportsmanship. But, I'm going to give Rob the benefit of the doubt and just chalk it up to his competitive nature. Every contestant dreams of being the champion and some aren't there to make friends. They just want to win." A sixth joked that maybe it was because Rob wouldn't have to deal with the nerve-wracking position of what to do if he himself had found the daily double, but overall it was surprisingly negative vibes to everyone. The atmosphere inside the Jeopardy! Studio this week was unlike anything viewers had seen in recent memory. The stage lights beamed, the audience sat on the edge of their seats, and host Ken Jennings, himself a living legend of the game, stood with a knowing smirk that told fans they were witnessing something historic. Cris Panullo, the reigning super champion, had just notched his 20th consecutive victory on the show, an achievement that solidified his place among the elite players in Jeopardy! History. For casual viewers, the number 20 might seem impressive on its own, but for longtime fans, it's a milestone that puts Panalo in rarefied air. Only a select few champions, Ken Jennings, James Holzhauer, and Amy Schneider among them, have reached this level of dominance. Even Ken, standing just a few feet away at the host's lectern, couldn't resist acknowledging the feat with a light-hearted, "I'm starting to think you enjoy being here, Cris." The match that made history. Tuesday's game wasn't just another win, it was an outright annihilation. From the opening Jeopardy! Round, Panalo took control, buzzing in with lightning precision and rattling off correct responses as though the clues were tailored specifically for him. His knowledge range was staggering, from obscure Renaissance artists to 1990s pop culture references. Panalo seemed unstoppable. By the first commercial break, Cris had already amassed over $10,000, leaving his two challengers with just a few $100s each. In Double Jeopardy, he widened the gap even further, strategically hunting for daily doubles and wagering aggressively. The studio audience gasped more than once at his boldness, particularly when he risked nearly his entire lead on a question about organic chemistry, and nailed it. When Final Jeopardy rolled around, the outcome was already a foregone conclusion. His opponents had been mathematically eliminated before the last clue was even revealed, a rare occurrence in the game's history. The crowd gave a standing ovation before Ken even read the final scores. Ken Jennings' admiration, and subtle warnings. As someone who knows exactly what it takes to go on a historic run, Ken Jennings has been both a cheerleader and a cautious advisor for Panalo. After the game, Ken congratulated him with a handshake and said, "You're making this look easy. But trust me, every game has its own traps. Stay sharp." Ken's own legendary 74-game streak still stands as the gold standard, and while he has expressed admiration for Cris's calm demeanor and fast buzzer reflexes, he's also reminded viewers that Jeopardy! Is as much about mental endurance as it is about trivia mastery. One wrong Final Jeopardy, one buzzer slump, and even the greatest champions can see their streak end abruptly. Still, Ken's smile during the broadcast made it clear, he sees something special in Panalo. The fans are losing their minds. On social media, Jeopardy! Fans have been in a frenzy. The hashtag Cris Panullo has been trending for days, with viewers debating whether anyone in the current contestant pool has what it takes to dethrone him. "Is this guy a machine?" one fan tweeted during Tuesday's broadcast. "Ken Jennings is looking at his successor right now." Another viewer wrote, "The other contestants don't even stand a chance. They should just rename the show Cris and Friends at this point." Some longtime followers have been drawing comparisons to other dominant champions, with one Reddit thread titled, "Cris is giving me James Holzhauer vibes," pointing out his calculated wagers and ability to drain the board of high-value clues. Others believe Panalo's style is more similar to Jennings himself, relying on depth of knowledge rather than pure gambling. The psychological game. One often overlooked element of Jeopardy! Dominance is the mental warfare that takes place on stage. Panalo's success has as much to do with his ability to intimidate as it does with his trivia skills. Former contestants have admitted that going up against a super champ can be nerve-wracking. The pressure to buzz in faster, the fear of making an early mistake, and the knowledge that the reigning champion is a proven winner can throw even the most prepared challenger off their game. During Tuesday's episode, one competitor visibly hesitated on several clues, likely second-guessing themselves in the face of Panalo's rapid-fire accuracy. By the midpoint of Double Jeopardy, both challengers seemed resigned to playing for second place, a mental shift that only made Panalo's path easier. The numbers behind the streak. After 20 games, Cris Panullo has racked up an astounding $650,000 in total winnings. That averages out to over $32,000 per game, a figure that puts him in league with the likes of Holzhauer and Mattimodio in terms of earning efficiency. His buzzer success rate is equally impressive, estimated at over 65%, meaning that more often than not, if Cris wants to answer a question, he gets to. This technical mastery is often the difference between winning and losing, especially in games where knowledge gaps are minimal. And perhaps most importantly, Panalo has avoided any significant blunders. While other champions have been known to have off games, misreading categories, missing obvious clues, or making reckless wagers, Cris's consistency has been remarkable. Can he be beat? That's the million-dollar question, literally. While Panalo's streak is thrilling for many, there's also a growing curiosity about who could possibly end it. Some fans believe it will take a buzzer assassin, a player with equal knowledge but faster reflexes, to topple him. Others think it will come down to a single unlucky Final Jeopardy where Cris either wagers too much or encounters a category that falls into his blind spot. Ken Jennings himself has hinted at the unpredictable nature of the game. Every great streak ends the same way, suddenly. For now, Panalo shows no signs of slowing down. His confidence seems unshakable, and his ability to stay calm under pressure may be his greatest weapon. What's next for Panalo? With 20 wins under his belt, Cris Panullo has officially qualified for the next Tournament of Champions. That means even if his streak ends tomorrow, fans will see him again in a high-stakes showdown against the best of the best. However, given his current trajectory, Some are already speculating whether he could challenge Jennings' 74-game record. That's still a long way off, but Panalo's discipline and skill make the idea less far-fetched than it might seem. As Ken wrapped up Tuesday's show, he left viewers with a telling line: "Cris will be back tomorrow to defend his title once again. At this rate, he might be here until the next presidential election." The crowd laughed, but for many fans watching at home, the thought didn't seem so absurd. After all, dominance like this doesn't come around often. For now, Cris Panullo remains the man to beat on Jeopardy! And based on his latest performance, it's going to take a truly exceptional challenger to stop him.